What's good, guys? M.V.K here, back again. Comic fans, back again for some more comic reviews. Still doing Marvel, guys. I will be getting into some indie soon. But I don't collect a lot of DC now in singles issues no more. A lot of DC is in trades. So unfortunately, most of the time you'll see, in terms of single issues, you'll see more Marvel and independent stuff. But I got about, let's see. We got, eight Marvel books to cover today, for you guys. And, yes, X-Force, I can tell you X-Force is in there. But let's get started, all right? So let's kick it off. We're going to kick this off with a one-shot. I guess it's a one-shot. I'm not sure. Black Widow, Venomous. First of all, I love the Lee Hunyuk cover. So I got this variant cover pretty. So what is this all about? Well, let me tell you what it's about. So if people have not been keeping up, Natasha has a symbiote. It's a young symbiote, and as of right now, it calls itself Widow. So it calls itself Widow. But at the end of this book, it does have it has gotten a real name. So Natasha is on somewhat like a mission, and she's trying to break in, and all of a sudden at one point in time, she's doing well, and then all of a sudden the symbiote dissipates from her and hides up in the corner, because it's almost like it's afraid. And later on, Natasha confronts her symbiote, is like, what happened? Like, why did you run away? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And the symbiote goes in to tell her why she did it. And Natasha's a little hurt, but not mad. But she does say that we're supposed to be on the same page. And if you can't be on the same page with me, then find yourself a new host. And through this, Natasha starts to train the symbiote, like train. The same, almost in a similar way that she was trained in the Red Room. And when she realizes that that's a little too far, because this symbiote seems to be very understanding of the purpose of what they are. Natasha is training the symbiote almost similar to how she was trained. And at one point, the symbiote, the Widow symbiote is like, stop, like, almost, okay, like, chill, like. Characteristics like that made it very interesting. I was like, whoa, okay. And so Natasha's like, wait, I'm training it like I was trained, which I did not really care for. So Natasha brings in friends. She brings in Spider-Woman. She brings in Hawkeye. She brings in Nick Fury. I think Nick Fury Jr. His son, not old Nick. And Coulson, I believe, yeah. And they help the Widow try to figure things out. And it helped. It helped a lot. And eventually, afterwards, we see that Natasha and the symbiote has become kind of more as one. And again, Natasha asks, what is your name? And it says Widow. But later on, by the end of the issue, we hear the name now. And her name is Sliver. So, yeah. But this was a really fun issue, because this is tying into the Venom Wars, which is coming up. But this was very good. I really enjoyed this. This gave, again, characteristics to the symbiote that we don't get to see as much, even with Venom and even with like Carnage and things like that. But being that the fact that her symbiote is still young in a standpoint of a symbiote, yeah, it worked. But it worked. I enjoyed this very much. Next up, we move on to number 11 number 673 of Salman Ahmed's Daredevil, number 11. Nice cover of Bullseye on the cover. So if you haven't watched, I did a catch up on all of Daredevil. I reviewed all 10 issues before this. I'm really liking Mr. Ahmed's run. You know, blending very much supernatural based with Catholic faith and things like that. It's really good. But in the last issue, we saw that Matt confronted Wilson Fisk, and he realizes that, and Wilson was way different, a lot stronger, and he threw Matt down an elevator shaft. Yeah, literally. And in the process, also one of the kids that are at the mission where Matt is, Father Matt, well, that's what he's called, is that one of the kids runs away because he finds out that Matt is Daredevil, and he believes Daredevil killed his father. Now, throughout this, Elektra helps Matt get back on his feet with a little bit of a Asgardian remedy that she gets to use. It was really interesting. She was like Asgardian. It was like this Asgardian root or so that allowed Matt to recover quicker. But then he goes on to tell Elektra, like, look, that's Fisk, but that's not Fisk. He's possessed by one of the 7 deadly sins, the demons. Gluttony, greed, wrath, all that. So yeah, he tells him that. Little bit. While that's going on, we have the kids. One of the children that ran away from home. He's now in the clutches of Bullseye, and Bullseye is toying with this kid and things like that. And even at the point, he kind of almost blurs out, Matt's identity. But it really just focused on that, and it focused on, how do we stop Kingpin? But it was good. This was still solid issue indeed. Dropped it. Moving on to Immortal Thor, number 13, excuse me. This is 13. Al Ewing still doing a fantastic job on Thor. I love the cover. This Alex Ross, I believe, cover of Thor and Hercules. Is Herc in this issue? Yes, he is. So basically what it is that it is Thor has traveled to Greece, and he needs the help of basically his kind of like a brother to him, or Hercules. And Hercules, they also need to find the god of the night, Nyx, yeah. And they do. And that's pretty much what this issue is about. It's a battle between Thor, Hercules, and Loki's in this as well, against Nyx, who had supposedly just killed Zeus. Now, I know my Greek gods and things like that, and Nyx was she always represented the night, but she was also considered a primordial god that Zeus was scared of. Like, Zeus did not mess with her at all. And in this, we see a lot. Like, there's the fighting between her children and Thor and Hercules, and it's really good stuff. Loki in this kind of gets to shine because of what he was able to do and what kind of what he caused. But it's the ending that really got me really excited, because it looks like Zeus ain't dead, and what it really looks like is there's going to be a battle between Thor and Zeus. I'm looking forward to that. Get a little swig of liquid death. to Giant Size Silver Surfer. You guys know me, big Silver Surfer fan. One of my favorite Marvel characters. Giant Size is like the 50th anniversary. I've been liking these Giant Size one-shots. But in this, it is exactly what you see on the cover. It is former Herald versus former Herald. Basically what this book is all about jealousy. Plain and simple. Plain, could not say it any better. It is plain and simple. It is all about jealousy. Terrax the Tamer, who was Silver Surfer's predecessor, he goes to this planet. He goes to the inhabitants, and the inhabitants think he is Silver Surfer, and he's like, "No, I'm not Silver Surfer." And he's telling these inhabitants of this planet, "Now you will worship me," and all this, and they're just like, "Are you Silver Surfer? You just look different." And he's just getting pissed. He's just getting pissed. So he calls for Surfer. Surfer does come, and it's pretty much a dick measuring contest. Terrax the Tamer's like, "Look, all I heard about was you and all this other stuff. The Silver Surfer, Galactus' greatest hero." It's just pure jealousy. And he's like, "I want to fight you, or if you don't fight me, or if you," he's like, "surrender now, or I'll kill these inhabitants of these." And Surfer's kind of like, "Only you would do something like this. It's basically stupid." But little did he know that Surfer had a little help, because he's throwing everything at Norrin. He's like, "You're a coward, all that power, and you're a coward. You won't want to fight me." And then enter Heather Douglas, aka Moondragon, who kind of set the whole thing up, except for the inhabitants. Moondragon is a telepath. She's a powerful telepath that even Jean Grey herself even said scoping her mind is hard. Because she's not a mutant, but her power is natural. She learnt how to tap into that 10% of her brain, the brain. And of course, she is the daughter of Drax the Destroyer. But it was based on that. Terrax even had the machine that Dr. Doom used to take Surfer's powers. And he basically said, "You're going to put it on, and I will siphon your power," and all this other stuff. It's just the more I'm reading it, the more I'm reading this, the more I'm just like, "Oh my God, Terrax, you are just completely jealous. You're jealous. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous." And it's to the point where Surfer really doesn't even really lay a finger on him too much. And by the end of it, Surfer just basically outsmarts him. But again, he basically is like, "Yeah, still like, you're a coward." And then Surfer even says that the next time you pull this at me, you pull this or try to hurt innocent people, you will see that worthy opponent that is better than you. Basically, he put it in so many words, but yeah, he basically is like, I'm better than you. You know that. But it was still fun. It was still fun. All right. So we move on to. We'll probably no. I'll just do it. Finally, I wasn't able to get it for a while, and then I finally got it. Ultimates #1. This is the second of the new Ultimate Universe title that I am collecting. Ultimate #1. This was good. This basically shows how this world has happened, things like that. But more importantly, this is the first. We get the first recruits of this new team, and those recruits are Ant-Man and the Wasp, Hank and Janet Van Dyne. They're married in this, and before they realized that they were heroes, they were exterminators. That's really funny. And we see them in here. Someone calls them in to exterminate a pest, and then while they're looking for pests, they come across a Moloid family, and Janet and Janet and them are just pissed at this. I'm like, it's a moloid down there. You want us to kill it? Things like that. So that was really interesting. More and more, Tony is basically trying to, Iron Lad right here is basically trying to explain that we still have to stop the Maker, things like that, everything. But it's really, the issue is really of shining a light on Janet and Hank. And it's even to the point where Hank starts to question himself because of the Hank that we, he's like, I love Janet. I would never hurt her. But he sees, like, I guess, because they're looking at futures of the 616 universe as well as possible other, and one of them is, Hank just starts questioning, I don't want to hit her, I don't want to do this, I love her, and he's really questioning it, while Janet kind of just jumped right in. She was ready to be the Wasp. It took a while for Hank to come on and become Giant Man, and they're fighting Captain Britain, who is a member of this legion of bad guys that the Maker put together. And I love the ending where Hank just says, fuck it, I can do this, and he puts a boot fit, he steps on them. It's the coolest thing, but it was great. Issue number. Thor was in it, but he was pretty much out of commission because he got stabbed by the sword that Captain Britain on, and it was killing him. And then that moves us on to issue number 2 of the Ultimates, and in this, Steve is pretty much now trying to figure out what the hell happened. When he was frozen, like, what happened to America, and he kind of is getting a kind of a crash course through holograms. And more importantly, the Ultimates are at the White House, and they find a guy called Midas, who is wearing the old school gold, armor that Anthony Stark made, not Tony, who is, remember, he's called Iron Lad in this. The biggest thing is just seeing how much Steve loathes what the Maker and the Council are doing. And there's a big incident where they're at the White House, and Midas actually tells them, like, he has somebody in the basement that's powering up almost half of the East Coast hub, and we find out who it is. And Steve is like, you don't love her. Like, Midas is saying to the Ultimates, like, I love her and all this other stuff, and they're like, man, you're bull. Stop pulling our chain. You don't love her. You're just using her power. And even Steven said, you don't even know her. What's her name? Things like that. And it's there, Steve, they're able to stop him, because I love where Steve pretty much cracks Midas in the back of the head, and he basically says, gold is a very soft metal, so that's why I was able to knock you out from the back. Pause. But outside of that, it was good, and the person that they saved was the ultimate version of America Chavez. And because Midas even says, he says, she has never said a word, and he says, Miss, there was a misjudgment done to you. We're the Ultimates, don't worry about it. What is your name? And she finally talks. She says her name, America. It was good. And moving on to Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 7. My apologies, guys, for not putting out reviews of the last 6 issues. I did issue number 1, and then I forgot to do it throughout, but I read each 6. Hickman still continues to ride this and does a great job. In this, we see Dr. Otto Octavius examines both Norman and Peter's suits and realize that they're both armored and things like that, and he also helps them figure out that they could have like an AI system in there. And we see on one side Harry Osborn, the Green Goblin, his AI system opens up, and it's kind of like he can hear his voice of his dad. While when Peter does it, it's something a lot different. I think they put an emphasis on that. Hickman puts an emphasis on that because at the same time you're saying to yourself, is how they're gonna bring in the symbiotes? I don't know, but it was still fun, indeed. And we do know that the council, the Order Council, they go and meet Wilson Fisk, who is also a part of the Makers group, and they're telling him like you need to deal with these obstacles. And first they offer to give Wilson a group of, I guess, bullseyes, and he's like, never mind, I have my own. I have something of my own, and I have 6 of them. Yeah. But outside of that, this was good. Hickman just kills it. Another swig. Liquid Death. Last but not least, we move on to issue number 1, or I believe issue number 291. This is From the Ashes, A New Beginning, X-Force. As I told you guys, I'm going to be reading all the X-Men books. And what was this? Was this good? You got Marcus too doing the artwork. Kiss. But this was good. This was fun. This is a lot different than any of the X-Force book. Forge is trying to stop things before he has this cube, this circle, this sphere that's helping him. And Forge has also upgraded his own cybernetic tech. How he puts together this team is actually really cool. Their first mission there in Japan, so that's where they meet Surge. Deadpool does guest star, as you'll probably already know, that each issue there's going to be like a guest star for the team. This was fun. That I really enjoy. I love that Forge's his hand. He can morph his hand into like knives and stuff. It's really cool. They fight this creature in Japan, and basically realize that they can't really stop it, but Wade can. So basically, Forge tells his robot pal, that this big guy in the back, Tank, to basically launch Wade into this creature, and the creature will try to eat him, but Wade's damaged cancer cells will kill him. So it was really interesting indeed. I love the band. I love the chemistry between Forge and oh my god, why am I forgetting her name right now? I'm forgetting her name. Sage. I like that because their powers are almost similar in a sense, but I love it. And Rachel and Betsy are just really cute together. It was really fun. But this was good. This was fun. This was a good start that I really enjoyed it. I will continue to read it. I'm going to read this first arc. Mr. Thorne did a good job, and you had Marcus 2's artwork, chef's kiss. But it was good. This was good. Very much. It fell again. Well, guys, there you guys have it. That is my review of some more Marvel books. Don't worry guys, I will have some more for you. But in the meantime, I have a couple of piles of indie books that I'm going to review on the channel for Indie Showcase, which includes catching up with a lot of the Thundercats books and Gatchaman book and Dick Tracy and all that stuff. So I will see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You tell me if you read any of these Marvel books. If you have, what did you think of them? If you didn't, I hope I was able to educate you and also maybe wean you to maybe picking them up. But with that being said, guys, you guys take care. This is Mount Vernon Kid. Deuces.